Welcome, hello, Yasu and hi. My name is Tai Kölner, and today's video is how to burn family karma. Before I start there, I have to excuse a little. I was supposed to do my video yesterday, but I woke up at 6 in the morning with a horrible migraine. So I ate 2 aspirin, I thought, and I was totally down drugged. I think I got some Ibu or paracetamol, whatever, but I was not able to get myself to work or to do anything. It was 16 hours of migraine, sitting in the dark, so no way to even record a video. Only in the evening when I thought, okay, now my patience is going down. I get me to another of aspirin. I faced that my aspirin was still in the car at that place where I did lay them down 2 weeks ago when I bought them. So I don't know, it must have been ibuprofen or paracetamol, however, it kicked me out of my socks. So yeah, well, was no way to do. Also, if you did not watch the video before, please watch the one before because it's an introduction to today's video. It's named Who's That Girl? Part 3. So, yeah, I introduce myself a little to those who are new to my channel. My name is Tai Kölner. I'm a black magician. I'm a follower of the Draconian Path. I'm an author, I'm a student of the left-hand Order Dragon Rouge, and I'm an empath. So today's topic is how to dissolve family karma, and that's quite of a big topic. It not just impacts you and your family, but the entire society. And this is where I cast some light on today. Basically, everything what you are faced to in your childhood is a base stone to your later life, for good or bad. So everything what you learn in your childhood, what you face in your childhood, is creating a kind of family karma. But it is not only your family karma what is raising from this. You are also impacted from the family karma of your parents and of your grandparents and your grand-grandparents. This is where I want to dive into today. Also, I want to dive into how I did solve some core stones of my family karma and what family karma basically is. So let's start on that point. No matter if you were raised in a household of child abuse, or if you were raised in a household with an overcaring mama or dad, it is something that impacts you in your life. So kids are, let me say it another way around, there is a speaking. It says teach them as long they are young. The reason is kids take the given things into their soul right away. They don't ask, is it true or not true? They feel it. So if you are told to be fat, or to be too slinky, or to be a stupid, or to be an ugly, also if they overcare and raise you to an overhuman, so you can do everything, you are Georgious, no one can reach your core, all this will grow in a child. And no matter if it is positive or negative, if it is unbalanced, it can cause fake pictures of your own personality. And so it causes some trouble about. In my case, my sister was half that size of mine. So they started, my stepfather and my mother started telling me like, "Hey, fatty." They did mean it in a joking way, but all my life I thought I'm a little too much of my shape. In revenge, I named my sister Skeleton. Okay, that wasn't nice either, I know, but I was a kid. Um, However, it took years to understand that I basically had a wow of a shape when I was 16, and I only understood it when I saw a picture of mine. And today I understand why truckers were calling the horns when they were driving by. But however, nothing about that I did not know. I thought I was oversized and ugly and, wearing glasses and so on, just because of that. So, this is what you carry with yourself. When it comes to the wrong picture of yourself, also if you face a family ship where you're feeling weak and helpless, you start to distrust yourself. You start to distrust your family and your society. So it is disconnecting you from self-confidence. This is something very hard to break. And this is something what mostly doesn't even grow from your childhood. In very much cases, it's transferred from their parents to them, and they give it to you. This was when I understood this back then. I did not even want to have children because I thought if I take the pattern my parents had and if I get a child, I maybe use the same pattern because I don't know else. Um, Today I can say you're wrong, but back then I didn't know. I was insecure about that. So what is it? It is an impact from your parents onto you, and you have to find these impacts and to break these beliefs because you are not ugly, you are not stupid, you're not fat, and you're not too slinky. That's nothing at all. I mean, if you got all too much weight on your scale, so what? You should do sports anyways. So if you don't like it, change it. But that's not the point. It's not your fat and you never will change anything about. And it's not about, as for boys, for example, if you say, oh, that's too slinky here, I'm looking like a porry. Yeah, okay, do some sports. Do some crossover training, whatever. That's not the point. You are the creator of your body. So do it. Just do it. And moreover, be confident in your body. But this is a kind of time to work on that. And how do you break this pattern you got from your parents? How do you break this family karma? First thing is step into their shoes. Call forth how old were your parents when they got you. Probably they were 16, 17, 18, 20. However, they just started after their education. They did not know how to run the week, how to get together the payment for the flat and how to fill the fridge. However, they were stressed, maybe. And they did not know how to handle, I mean, we were three kids, and maybe they did not know how to handle all these three running around kids. Or in my case, I did grow up with my stepfather and my mother, so my nose is absolutely my father's nose. So I'm more the image of the evil just because my face was quite alike to my father. So I could do whatever I wanted. I was a mirror. So, and they could not handle this mirror. Moreover, my stepfather was grown up in a family ship who was, they had 7 kids, 6 daughters, and him as a son. And his mother was like 19 tails, you know, this tight dresses, and like an old teacher from 1900. And she was the one beating up the kids, thinking that this is the way how to raise kids. And my stepfather took over this kind of raising kids. My mother, on the other hand, was quite weak of her soul, a very sad person, sad, weak person, if I mirror it now today's. She just did fear that he might dump her if she doesn't agree his way of raising kids. And instead of protecting us, she was involving and doing the same. So this about my reflection about my family. This her fear about losing him is a projection she had from her mother, because she always was not good enough, not female enough. She was more like her dad as well. And so she was not that daughter the mother wanted. And all this gets together in one karmic flow. And so this mirrors into the way how she was about us and how it impacted us in combination with this stepfather. Yeah. And it is not only about understanding these beliefs, it is about breaking these beliefs. And this is what you can do in meditating, first of all, to understand how these things line together. Where are their roots? Where are their karmic impacts? Where are the impacts of their parents, maybe? My grandfather, from the mother's side, I did really adore him. And there was a legend, nobody knows where he's coming from, because he was found as a baby and raised from another family. So he was basically a rootless one, and he was the most cool and relaxed person I know. So he was quite opposite to her. There, maybe the karma is of being a foreigner, and I was always feeling like a foreigner. So, however, you can dig out this of your family history in your meditation, and the more you understand the past of your family, the more you understand the influences on the family karma which reflects on you. So also check what you really discussed. There are simple things. For example, you don't like onion. Maybe you were forced to eat all the dinner, let's say an onion soup, when you were a child, and that's why you hate it. That's a simple thing. Another thing can be if you did face things what were scary or dangerous to you, you might have pushed them into subconsciousness. And when you're meditating, you're allowing to open these doors, and so these memories will come back. They did hide, and so they now come back. And in your daily life, you only face that you don't like it, that you feel sick if you see it. But if you meditate about, you maybe find the core where these emotions origin. So there are keys. The more you discuss something, the more you can say there are keys hidden in your subconsciousness who can tell you about your family karma or about things that happened. So, for example, in my life, a classic, pink. I made a video about the color pink, but I give it a short scratch anyways. I did not even hate, I did discuss, I thought pink was an awful color. I always thought it's like, I saw it and I felt like a sick stomach, like a casting up. Um, I did connect it to to um to Disneyfication, to Barbie, to when someone gets a child. So hey, it's a boy, he gets blue. It's a girl, she gets pink. So I I took it on a mundane level. But one day at meditations, I suddenly remembered I had an entire room painting in screaming fuchsia pink. Not one wall, all the four walls. So, and then I understood that it was all this child abuse, all this pain, fear, insecurities, all that I did transfer to this color. And while I forgot about this room, the emotions did hang on this color all the years. So when I saw the colors, I basically got the emotions that I dumped there onto this color as a child. So when I found out that, I I faced myself. And that's a very draconian way. If you find a point, it's not enough to know about. It's about challenge it. So I bought some pink roses and placed them onto my altar. I bought me a pink tights to my black dress, and I bought me some fuchsia, screaming fuchsia pink laces to my boots. I still wear them. It's always funny when people see it, but it's really a facing. You see it every day. So, and to a good friend, to a very dear friend, his daughter got a hamster. So when she got her hamster, I took a box. Let me see, a box like that. Give me here a box like that, and I bought a little skull, how you use for a snake's home, a terrarium, I think, and I placed it right up here and made some holes so the hamster could crawl into the box and up into the skull, and all that I painted in screaming fuchsia to the hamster. So while I was creating something beautiful for his daughter, I was facing all my inner inner happenings. I lack the words for actually. I was facing myself by painting this, and it was a really one of the hardest arts I ever did, to paint this skull and this box in this fuchsia pink. But I made it, and I'm really proud of that. So okay, but another thing, for example, was less focused by my way. It's solved by life. I had a problem with ginger heads, with a male ginger heads, and I did not know the root. Also, meditation is a big core to find out. Um, I had a problem on ginger heads when I was, for example, at a gas station and there was someone putting gasoline to the car, and it was a natural ginger head, and he was raising the arms and the shirt did roll up a little, and so the belly plopped out with a, this red little hair, and it was like, whoa, ugh. It was absolutely not my cup of tea. And it was not only not my cup of tea, it was, I felt disgusted about seeing that. And it was not his fault. I mean, his shape, yeah. Who am I to damn him about? but it was calling forth a memory I forgot. And while I was meditating once, I remembered I must have been 3 or so. It was in a kindergarten when I had a guy who was a gingerhead, and there must have been something like a Doctor Games, and I was totally surprised to find what I cannot find on myself. So I must have been a little shocked about. I mean, I had only a sister. I did not even know about boys. So, um, and this must have rooted that deep. So I had this rejection against redheads. Today I'm smiling about because that's pretty normal in this age. It's pretty normal to find out, oops, not everyone is the same. So, especially if you don't grow up with many kids or with a brother and a sister or so. Yeah. But today I can say I in contact with many people on my path, and some of my brothers are also naturally born redheads, and I totally like them, and I really they got my back. And by working together, I realized that all this childhood story was just a joke, a joke I didn't understand. And when I see my brothers today, I really could hug them, and there is no trace of any of these feelings I had about 10 years ago. And this was only by working together and by realizing where the roots come from. Another thing is about self-confidence. That's a little more tricky. You really have to first learn to love yourself, to find your beauty spots. And if you disagree about your shape, you can do some sports. You can make sure to eat more, to eat less, whatever. But basically, however your shape is, love yourself. And if you are fine with your shape, you will be surprised how much this law of attraction comes back to yourself. So others suddenly start to get into contact to tell you, wow, that's looking great or whatever. So this self-confidence thing is one of the biggest marker stones many carry around, especially if there was kind of child abuse or so. So another point what comes into family karma is the society you grew up in. So if you are a boy, you are in a society where they put on you to make sure the money is rolling in to pay the rent. They they imply that you have to protect the family. They imply that you have to be the strong one who, in case of needs, fights for the rights of your family. This is maybe a little outdated, but also it is very deep rooted through many generations of your family. So that's basically how boys still up today grow up. On girls, it's the exactly opposite. It's not about fighting or being the strong backbone. It's more like being nice, being sweet, being the connecting part, being the caring part, being the softer part, the balancing part. But both has a problem. If you grow up in a family ship, for example, that is in child abuse, I can put this because I got my mark on that. I know what I'm speaking about. Many guys I met and who faced the same history, they they became a kind of rebel. So they did start fights at school, and they did start to beat up children who were a little weaker than them. And sometimes even they did beat up children who were older than them just to prove that they can stand tall and that they are not the weak ones. And there is the core on that. Um, if you face as a child, if you face this child abuse, you have no security at home. So you feel insecure, you feel weak, you feel helpless. And when you step out of your house, you try to not to be the weak one, not to be the helpless one, not to be the unsecure one. So you get into action. You are the one beating up the other. You are the one who is proving to be the stronger one. And that's why guys get into this aggressive behavior sometimes. There are there are some other cases as well, of course, but this is mostly how boys react. Girls mostly retreat. So they retreat from society, they retreat from friendships. They love to be alone. They rather are in nature or with kids, but not in nature or with animals, but not with kids. And they have a quite strange mindset about the world. Sometimes it even appears a little fluffy, because that's a protection way as well to get it into kind of Disneyfication. So negating of the existence, what is a fact at home. So in both cases, you get a totally wrong picture of yourself. And this is what society does. Now, if you get how your inner family structure is working and how the inner family structure of your parents and so on did work, then you come to an understanding about how society is working. And this is a point where you could easily get to become a misanthrope, really. And I would have had all the points to become a misanthrope, to hate society. But on the other side, as soon you start to clean up your family karma, you clean up the family karma of your parents and of your society, because you are reflecting about what happens to you, how it impacts on you. You are facing it. I just tell you about the pink laces, yeah? You cannot imagine how often people say, okay, but this is a kind of strange, don't you think? So black dress, pink laces. I say, yeah, but that's not pussy behavior, that's facing. I say, that's facing. And then I explain what I'm doing. And in this moment, they get the chance to reflect about themselves and probably to do the same. So this is how you can cure generation of family karma and your society. So you don't only set yourself free, but also set free maybe society. Your impact is far deeper. That's for sure. So yeah, I did jump a little further, so that's great. One big marker is it is not about to forgive your parents or to forgive anybody who did an impact on you that caused you to that challenge you go through today. It's not about forgiveness. It's about understanding, because every one of them did act based on their family karma, based on their impacts, and they were not in the position to change it. So as for this overload kid, when it comes to education or to school and is facing, oh damn, I'm just one of a thousands, and if this one is fearing to be a fault because not reaching the goal the parents wanted to, then it's not the fault of the kid. It's the parents who did mirror their not succeeding in their childhood or in their work frame or their status of such society, what they now mirror onto the child. It is their impact that made him to become how he is. And so it's not to hate them for. It's not even for me to hate my mother or my stepfather. It's an understanding of how weak they were and how less they did work on themselves. And we now today, we got the chance to face it. And the very moment when we decide to face it, we change everything. We are the pioneers. We are the ones with the sword in the hand telling, here I am, and I make a change. And I would love to see more of you making a change. It is not easy. It may take half of your lives, but it is really, really a big thing, and it can change the world, not only yourself. So, giving you an inspiring for this day, and bye for now. See you next time.